This is the sound of PSK31. Actually, it's the sound of several stations communicating using this mode over a very small slice of spectrum. PSK31 was created by Peter G3PLX in the 1990s. It's not an error-free mode, but it's less prone to hits than RTTY, and it's used for keyboard QSOs. You can't send files or pictures, but you don't have to type very well either, because all your PSK software contains what are called macros, and these are software buttons that you can click on, and they'll send pre-formatted text. Your RST is, my QTH is, that type of thing. Another advantage of PSK31 is you can have a QSO on the radio and talk to your YL at the same time, and there's no annoying HF noise to bother her or anybody else, or your dog or your cat. The baud rate for the most common form of PSK, PSK31, is actually 31.25, which equates to about 50 words a minute, and this is the most popular form. Each PSK31 signal uses just 31 Hz of space, and it's a single tone. Built-in DSP filtering in the PSK software helps make it usable under less than optimum conditions. Other forms of PSK are PSK63, which, as you might expect, is twice as fast and has a wider signal. And there's also something called PSK125, which is very seldom used, and that's a wider signal yet, and has the fastest baud rate. It's also more prone to errors because you're trying to cram more information into a slice of time. So a fade at PSK31 might only take a letter or two out, but a fade at PSK125 you might lose a whole sentence. PSK is ideally suited to folks who want to or have to run QRP power or work with minimal antennas, and believe it or not, the normal power for PSK is 30 watts or less. I routinely have QSOs with stations running 2 watts, 3 watts, 5 watts, 10 watts. I myself tend to use 30 watts. PSK uses either your computer's sound card and some cables, or an external interface with a sound card to communicate with your rig and transmit and receive audio. External sound card systems are often preferred because they let you use your computer the way you always have, and also reduce the chance that you will inadvertently send music or audio from a video presentation or the Windows noises over the air. And yes, that does happen. You can hear it almost every day if you listen long enough. External sound cards and external interfaces also have another advantage. They isolate your rig from your computer. They reduce the chance of hum and ground loops, RF interference. PSK frequencies tend to cluster around certain spots in the bottom part of the bands, and there'll be a handout showing you the most common frequencies. Most external interfaces, by the way, also will key your rig automatically. You don't have to use Vox, although you can do that yourself if you want to build your own interface and hook it directly to the sound card. One more thing before we go on anymore with the Digipan, which is the software we're going to use for PSK. Here's the website for the Signal Link USB interface. Go to www.tigertronics.com, and this is roughly the size of the interface. It's very small, and it comes with all the necessary cables: a USB cable to go from a USB port on your computer to the Signal Link for power and audio, and then also, most importantly, at no additional cost, the cable that goes from the back of the Signal Link to the accessory jack on your rig, or however it's designed to work with your rig. My rig, the ICOM 718, it uses the accessory jack on the back. It's relatively inexpensive. Seems to me it's $130 last time I checked, but you can go to their site and find out more. Anyway, this is what it looks like. The big advantage, as I said, with an external interface that has a sound card is you can separately adjust your transmit audio, the audio to your rig, and the receive audio, the audio from the speaker output of your rig to whatever program you're running. Some folks also have to use the delay function, which I haven't had need to do yet, but this is just one example of a good interface, and it's one of the more popular ones on the air. One of the best programs for starting out with PSK, and one of the best programs period, also because it does most of the things the real expensive programs do, and yet it's still free, is Digipan. One of the few restrictions in Digipan is that it's limited to PSK31 and PSK63 for PSK modes. To get a copy, go to http://digipan.net. Note there's no www in front of there for some reason. And click on the Download Digipan 2.0 link. This will start the download to your computer, and when it's done, click on the downloaded file to install it. Whenever you want to start operating PSK, and probably at the beginning of every session, meaning every day that you want to operate, it's best to do the following so you ensure that you don't put out an extremely broad signal and potentially prevent anybody else, a couple of KC either side of you, from copying anybody, which is very easy to do if your station is not set up right. First thing you need to do is make sure that your rig is putting out the proper power, and that's very important that your ALC indicator is not moving. You also want to turn compression off. And the best way to do this is to go to your mode button once your rig is on and select tune. I forgot to mention prior to this, you need to set your power to 50 watts, 40 watts, 30 watts, whatever you want to. Then, once you've clicked on tune, your rig will go into transmit. And at that point, you need to look at your ALC indicator and then turn down your transmit audio button on your external interface, or in the case if you don't have one, if you're feeding it right from your computer, reduce your sound quality, your sound output, by dragging the appropriate slider down until you have no ALC indication. Again, I can't stress how important this is. You need to run with no ALC indication and no speech processing on. Now that you've got Digipan installed, it should come up in a format similar to this. The first thing you want to do is click on the Configure button, and then click on Personal Data, enter your call sign, your name, and your QTH. That's good enough for a start. These buttons up here are your macro buttons, and some of them are predefined, some of them you will want to go in and create yourself, which is not as difficult as it seems, and I'll give you a quick example. If you want to call CQ, you right click on the button, and here is this box which shows the name of the button and the text. Now you think, how do I know what to put in? Well, look over on the right hand side here. It's got all the words in the macro language listed, and you can see what they mean. My call, your call sign, my name, your name, my QTH is your QTH, meaning mine, and then call sign is call sign of the other station, name is his name, QTH is his QTH, RST is his RST. So anyway, what you do to take one of these expressions and put it in your macro, let's just do a test here. I put the cursor at the end of this macro because I don't want to go mess it up. Say I wanted to put my call sign in. I would select it and put the mouse pointer on these double arrows, click it once. Now my call sign is part of the macro. If I wanted to save it, I would just click OK and it would save it, but we're not going to do that. But that's how easy it is to start working on your own macros. This macro, by the way, puts the rig in transmit, sends CQ 3 times, DE, and then my call, my call, my call. 3 lines of that, and then please K. RX and clear is another line from the macro language, and by the way, this window is more extensive than what you first saw. I'm clicking on the drag button on the right to scroll down, and you can see various functions. These are transmit receive functions. These are, among other things, clearing your window function, sending carriage return line feed, etc. And again, to put any of these in your macro, all you have to do is select it and then click the double arrows and it'll go on that line. So anyway, that's the CQ macro. That's how easy it is to create it. To send it, all you would do is click on it. Okay, let's get back to the program. This is the log bar. Here would be the call sign, the name, the QTH, received and sent signal strength reports, the band, which I have defaulted to 20 meters, and any notes you might want to enter. The glasses on the right here are the way you look up information in the log. You click that, and if you wanted to look up a specific call, I would type, let's see here, let me think of somebody. Let's try N4HYK, since I know I've talked to Doc numerous times. Put his call sign in, N4HYK, search, and here's all the entries in the past I've had for him. This was imported, by the way, from another log of mine, which is why it shows sideband QSOs. So that's how you look up information in the log. As far as the other windows in this program, here we go. Your transmit window is down here, and your receive window, and all I'm doing is dragging a border on the program over with my mouse pointer. And now you've got 4 windows in your screen, counting the waterfall, which is down here, which is where all your receive signals show up. Receive window, browser window, transmit window, and waterfall. If you want to just look at the receive window, you click on the multi button. It gets rid of that multi-channel window, and any text you're receiving would go here. When you operate the program, you will find out that it's a real simple matter to automatically insert the call sign and the name, and basically any of this information, into this line on your log simply by selecting the call sign or the name or highlighting it and double clicking it. When you do that, the call sign and the name will go in automatically, and then you highlight his QTH, right click on the QTH once it's selected and click QTH in the window that pops up. You'll see that in the next QSO. Okay, let's see if we can get lucky and have a contact here on PSK31 on a day where the conditions are not all that great. Isn't that the truth? That's the way it always seems to work out. You want to go demo something and the band dies, or you got a rig problem or something. Any case, here we sit, a blank log to enter information on, and you can see the activity in the multi-channel window. So we'll just wait to see if somebody calls CQ, and we'll answer them. Alrighty, here's W4ET calling CQ. I'll click on his bar in the multi-channel window, close it, double click on his call, notice it's in the log, and I will call him. You can see on the bottom here the text being sent. It's being underlined as it's being sent. It's also appearing up here in the receive text window. When it's been sent, the program will automatically switch to receive, and if he hears me, he'll answer. Try calling him again. And it doesn't look like we're going to be able to make contact. Yep, QRZ, QRZ. Let's give it a shot. Call him a second time. All this text is being sent by the call 3 macro. Oh, there he is. He's heard me. So now you'll see how you use macro keys, among other things. And you can also see that it's definitely not an error-free mode. Wish I had a bit. Yeah, 339. Okay, I want to insert my report. So I go to received, and all I did was right click on his report, and I know he's in Hardin, Kentucky, so I can highlight this, right click, click on QTH. It's now filled in the log up here, and his name is Ron, so I can, same thing. Alright, so now we'll answer him. Go to transmit, send exchange, send short brag, or in this case just brag, which will have a signal. It's asking me for an RST, so I will put in 559. Now here comes the text. This is all out of this macro that I clicked on, and you can see what it's sending. And this, by the way, is pretty much a convention in PSK. You send your signal report, your name, your grid square, your QTH, and then turn it back. By the way, I'm looking at my rig, and it looks like I'm putting about 30 watts into my S9 vertical in the backyard. Oh, you also include your preferred QSL information at the end of your initial contact. Then, of course, BTU, his call, DE my call, and the rig will automatically switch back to receive. This is all out of that function key, out of that, I'm sorry, macro key up here. Now, of course, you can go ahead and type in real time. Oh good, my signal came up. Hoo-ha. Here he is, by the way, on the waterfall right here. And this is from 14070 to 14073. You can see how close the signals are. Copied 80%. Now he's sending me his grid, and I can drag the mouse pointer across that, right click, add it to notes. It shows up in the log up here, and he's running a 756 Pro. So I'm going to answer him with some live typing. I can start off that right now by clicking the exchange button, which simply puts his call, DE my call, and has the cursor on an empty line ready to start. He's also a fairly good typist by the looks of it. So now we get ready to go again. I hit the TR button here, which stands for transmit receive. hit it. The rig's now transmitting, and I'll say nice. Whoops, can't type. Nice to meet you. Okay, and I'll send it back to him, which I do by clicking on BTU. And in case you can't read it, I said, nice to meet you, Ron. The rig on this end is a 718, and I'm running 50 watts to an S9 vertical antenna planted in the ground out back. Hot here too. The bands are still kind of crummy, only a few signals on the waterfall today. BTU, W4ET, DE, WD4KAV. And now my signal's gone down again. So I think we're going to go ahead and sign. He says he hears strong signals up the band a little. That's probably JT65, which I think somebody else is going to talk about. You can see how well suited this mode is to just sitting at the keyboard typing like RTTY used to be, and still is actually. But a lot of people use PSK today. I'd say the majority of folks doing digital HF communication, keyboard to keyboard communication, use PSK31. It's very easy to set up, certainly easier than Packet, and a lot less prone to problems. Now you can see also how faint his signal is. It's right here. He's just faded out of my waterfall. And now he's starting to come back in a little bit, and the print's picking up. And what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 signals. Okay, back to you. I'm going to go ahead and sign with him because it's just really awfully marginal. Okay, transmit, exchange, and I will send. So there's the standard thing. I guess I better say 73 while we're printing each other. Thanks for the cue, so I hope we can work each other again under better conditions. Now I'll send my 73 macro key exchange, which is right there. These are the control key macros, which you can also get to by pushing this button. And it sent this text. QSL, QSL, good luck 73SK. So that's the basis of or the basics of a PSK31 QSO. How it works, how you use your function keys, how you enter information in the log, and you can see that it's an excellent mode to use for chatting. It has a lot of nice features built in. Most software does, including this one. Automatic logging, automatic log lookup. So, okay, we want to save this contact. We click on the little disk icon. Says it's already saved. I forgot. Haha, my bad. I had it set to save automatically when I sent my 73 macro. And we'll just go ahead and clear the entry out of the log. So there you have it.